I'm Colleen with Fervor, and we are talking with Come the Dawn, and they're finishing out their tour with LifeReaper. Maybe to get started, the 3 things you must have with you while on the road to survive.
3 things what?
3 things you must have with you while on the road.
Must have with us? Wet wipes.
Like some sort of disinfecting spray.
Lots of clean underwear and clean socks.
I think that's a good 3. I think so. What was it? Lysol, baby wipes, and clean clothes, clean underwear, especially. Yeah.
Right, Jake? Right. Jake?
Whiskey. Yeah, we forgot that. Yeah, of course.
And then this tour is just anyhow. I know you only have a few days left, but how has it been going opening for LifeReaper?
It's been awesome. It's been it's been 6 weeks. We've gone all over the U.S., so there's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs, things like that. But this has definitely been one of our favorite tours. We get to see a lot of really cool stuff. We've been out to California, and that was our first time out there. It's Come the Dawn, so it was really cool to kind of hit that audience. Now we're making our way back around here. So it's been a great tour so far. I think everybody is ready to keep knocking out the next couple days.
Perfect. And I know your debut album as a band, it just came out in late September. How do you think it's been going over so far, considering this is like the first full length for the band? How do you think it's going over so far?
I mean, yeah, for like a newer baby band on Sumerian Records, it's been doing rather well. We've been getting a lot of good feedback. I guess these last couple tours that we've been doing with Breather after the burial has kind of proven that the record is definitely getting out to people. We've been seeing people in the crowd that's singing along, and that's a really awesome thing to see. So
I always think it's cool to put the record out and then to go out and tour and see how people react to it. Because the After the Burial tour that we did last, the record had come out like in the middle of that tour. So this is like the first tour that we've done that we've had some time to like let the record settle for people and have them actually get a chance to listen to it. So it's been cool to see finally like people singing the words and people know the song. So that's cool.
See more and more kids like starting to sing the words and everything like that. So that's definitely a huge boost, I guess, of morale to be able to go to California or up here in New York or Texas or New Mexico and see kids singing the words of your songs. It's kind of humbling, it's really cool.
And then how did you go about the writing for this album? Were they songs that you had written in a short amount of time, some older songs? Is it one person or collaborative?
A good mix. Sam actually does a lot of our recording and writing. He can tell you a little bit about that.
So yeah, I mean, for the first record, it kind of an interesting process, but I have kind of like my own like studio rig at home. I kind of pre-pro stuff. We're always writing individually all the time. I kind of bring stuff to the table to the guys. More or less, we'll sit down, we'll kind of nitpick riffs, melodies, choruses, all that good stuff, and we'll kind of collectively add everything together and decide on what we love the most, and then we'll put it in a record and put it out. So that's kind of like how the writing process goes as far as this. And I know that for the second record we have some different really cool ideas. I think we're maybe going to go for like a more live writing process rather than pre-pro in just like a studio setting. So we're definitely excited about that as well.
I think as musicians, you have to constantly be thinking of ways to change, not necessarily your sound, but the way you do things so you don't get, stale ideas, whether it's writing in a studio or writing, as a group, just jam sessions. I think it needs to change, from album to album, something different to kind of get the creative juices flowing. I mean, we did, one thing on the last album. This album, we're going to approach it a little bit differently and things like that. So I think that's the way we do it.
Considering it is going well, you talked about how you want to go more of a live style of the writing. Do you ever get songs that are like finished, that are written, or is it still something that's a little while in the future for you guys?
I think we're in a constant state of writing. So whether the songs we're all, like I said, as soon as we get home, a lot of time, because we have access to a pretty much professional studio at our, whenever we want, we're always in that process. So whether those songs make the second record or not, it's still, it's like we're always in the process of writing everything. So yes and no, I guess. We're always writing, but we don't know if any of it's going to make the record. So
I I think for this second record, we've been like primarily focusing on choruses. We're really gonna build the songs around super strong choruses. I know Sumerian Records definitely is kind of wanting us to take like an active rock approach, and that's something that we believe in, and kind of a step that we're wanting to take as well. So we're kind of starting from choruses first, and then kind of building around that. So.
How has the experience been at Sumerian so far for you guys? I know you were saying something about being a baby band on Sumerian, but obviously they've had a lot of success and they have a great family of bands. How has the experience been so far?
It sucks, man. No, I'm just kidding. It's really cool. I mean, like I said, cut the feed. No, everything's been going really good. We are a baby band, so we've been trying to focus a lot on our own, stuff. Like getting the album out was like the first major step, and now things are starting to come together. We're starting to get bigger tours, more frequent tours, and things like that. We have a couple of big tours coming up in the summer. We can't say it right now, but so we're starting to see a little bit more. How would I say it? A little bit more attention from the label, which is really good. Now that everything's coming together and we're starting to come into our own as a band, they realize that. So being on the label, Sumerian's one of the best around, and in my opinion, the best. I mean, they have Ask Alexandria, Upon the Burning Body, and now they're starting to sign a lot of like mainstream rock bands, which is really cool because we want to eventually cross over and play arenas and shit. So we want to make sure that we're all on the same page, and Sumerian really knows how to market their bands. They really know they have a plan for every band, which is really cool. And now we're starting to get into that plan. So I think being on Sumerian so far has just been a blessing. I mean, we were lucky to be on them, so it's been really cool.
And a little soft one for all of you: the first CD or first cassette you ever remember buying as a kid, and the first concert you ever went to.
Is that the question?
Yes, first CD or first cassette.
First concert I ever went to was a Britney Spears concert. So, Britney Spears, yeah. I mean, at that time, I think I had different motives. I was like a 10-year-old kid, and I thought she was hot. So I was like, hey, why not?
You wanted to pursue a girl pop career?
Yeah,
okay.
And what was the second question? What was
That's why you CD or first cassette you ever bought?
Oh, first CD or first cassette? I think the first cassette I had, another embarrassing moment, was like Toby Keith or something like that. Yeah. For me, that was it.
First cassette, was that the question? I don't know. Growing up, I don't know. I listened to DC Talk and a lot of Christian rock. So that's kind of the stuff I listen to. As far as first concerts, I didn't really go to concerts growing up and stuff. So maybe local shows and stuff like that, but nothing too crazy. I don't think I've actually been to a really cool show other than Slipknot. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that was cool.
I always tell this story. When I was 4, I got one of those Walkman, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Where you the little guy? And my mom and my dad both bought me a cassette, and my mom bought me Thriller by Michael Jackson, and my dad bought me Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. So those were the first 2 cassettes that I ever had. And I think the first concert I ever went to, I think my older cousin snuck me into Thrice, Coheed and Cambria, and AFI when I was 13 at some venue in Cincinnati that doesn't exist anymore, but it was basically some hole-in-the-wall basement show.
Basement show?
Yeah, it was basically a giant basement. So, and it was leaking and stuff, but I can remember the smell more than I remember the show. But that was the first show that I can ever remember going to.
I don't really want to answer this. All right. First cassette ever was Shania Twain. I don't know why. No, my parents listened. All right. And the second embarrassing thing that I'm going to say is that my first concert I ever went to was NSYNC when I was 8.
That's good though. That's bad.
But that shit was badass. So no one ever talks shit about that. No one talks
right now.
Yeah, that shit was cool. So yeah.
And then to end it off, this tour is obviously coming to an end, like we talked about a few times now. What is coming up for the band? I know you talked about some plans, the touring that you can't really talk about just yet, but is that just the plan for now?
Yeah.
To tour, right?
Tour. Just released the album, so like I said, we want to make sure we're touring as much as possible. That's really the only plan.
Yeah, we actually actually just announced today a little run with For the Fallen Dreams and Oceano and Cane Hill. It's kind of like a shorter run that's based around a Texas metal festival. I believe we're playing on a Saturday. The headliner is Whitechapel. We're very, very pumped about that, and we definitely have a lot of other touring plans later on the year. I think we're probably going to land a pretty solid summer tour. We can't really say anything about it yet, but as far as touring goes, we're definitely keeping very, very busy for the remainder of the year.
Yeah, I mean the record is still very fresh, so our plan is to just get it out and play it out to as many people as we can to kind of keep it in everyone's minds. We just want to be out as much as possible. So whatever we got to do to stay out. Please book us. Please book our band. Please book our band. Please.
Well, I think that's about it with you guys, but check out Rock Fervor for some more interviews coming up, and check out these guys coming on.
Cool.
Thank you for
Thank
taking
you.
the time, guys.
Yeah.
It's never enough.